guys. So, as promised, I'm going to start reading Max Einstein from chapter 1. So, I want to show everyone the first picture that's in this book. A silly picture of Albert Einstein. And it says, imagination is more important than knowledge. Chapter 1. The stench of horse manure woke Max Einstein with a jolt. Of course! Even though she was shivering, she threw off her blanket and hopped out of bed. Actually, it wasn't really a bed. More like a lumpy, water-stained mattress with frayed seams. But that didn't matter. Ideas would come wherever they wanted. She raced down the dark hall. The floorboards, bare planks laid across rough beams, creaked and wobbled with every step. Her red hair, of course, was a bouncing tangle of wild curls. It was always a bouncing tangles of wild curls. Max rapped her knuckles on a lopsided door hanging off rusty hinges. Mr. Kennedy? She knocked again. Mr. Kennedy! What the? Came a sleepy mumble. Max? Are you okay? Max took that question as permission to enter Mr. Kennedy's apartment. She practically burst through his wonky door. I'm fine, Mr. Kennedy. In fact, I'm better than fine. I've got something great here. At least I think it's something great anyway. It's really, really cool. This idea would change everything. It could save our world. It's what Mr. Albert Einstein would have called an aha moment. Maxine, yes, Mr. Kennedy? It's 6 o'clock in the morning, girl. Is it? Sorry about the inconvenient hour, but you never know when a brainstorm will strike, do you? No, not with you anyway. Max was wearing a floppy trench coat over her shabby sweater. Lately, she'd been sleeping in the sweater under a scratchy horse blanket because of her so-called bedroom was, just like Mr. Kennedy's, extremely cold. The tall and sturdy black man, his hair flecked with patches of white, creaked out of bed and rubbed some of the sleep out of his eyes. He slid his bare feet into shoes when he had fashioned out of cardboard and old newspaper. Hang on, he said. Need to put on my slippers here. Because the floor's so cold, said Maxine. Huh? You needed to improvise those bedroom slippers because the floor is cold every morning, correct? Maxine, we're sleeping uninvited above a horse stable. Of course the floors are cold. And, in case you haven't noticed, the place doesn't smell so good either. Max, Mr. Kennedy, and about half a dozen other homeless people were what New York City called squatters. That meant they were living rent-free in the vacant floors above a horse stable. The first 2 floors of the building housed a parking garage for Central Park carriages and stalls for the horses that pulled them. The top 3 floors, as far as the owner of the building knew, they were vacant. Winter is coming, Mr. Kennedy. We have no central heating system. Nope, we sure don't. You know why? Because we don't pay rent, Max. Be that as it may, in the coming weeks, these floors will only become colder. Soon, we will all freeze to death. Even if we were to board up all of the windows. That's not going to happen, said Mr. Kennedy. We need the ventilation. All that horse manure downstairs stinking up the place? Exactly. That's precisely what I wanted to talk to you about. That's my big idea. Horse manure.